and welcome to this edition of Talk Vietnam. Our guest today's name is Vance McElhinney, and his life first took a turn in 1975 when he was airlifted out of Vietnam as a baby in an operation called Operation Mercy Airlift. He grew up with many questions in his mind, the most prevalent of which was, who is my mother and why did she abandon me? These questions hung over Vance since he was 10 years old, but it would not be for another 30 years that he would be able to return to Vietnam and embark on a very special journey. We're very lucky to welcome Vance to our studio today to share with us that journey. Thank you very much, Vance, for joining us.
Well, thank you for having me.
Yes. Let's go back now to the very first time that you realized that, you were different, that you had, this Vietnamese origin in you.
Well, it was probably when I was around about 5 or 6, whenever I was moved over from Vietnam to England, and from England then to Northern Ireland. And growing up in Northern Ireland, it's dominantly, white Caucasian. So obviously whenever I was growing up, I was one of maybe 3 or 4 coloured people. And it was then I kind of noticed that I was different. In primary school, all the pupils would be white Caucasian. I would be the only brown person there, and I knew from a very young age when I could actually understand that, I was different. And obviously, as I was growing up in Northern Ireland in the 70s, it wasn't multicultural then, so it wasn't.
What do you think then led you to kind of start having questions about your roots and about possibly your biological parents?
When I went into secondary school, when I was probably around about 13 or 14, that's when things got really bad, when people would say, go back to Vietnam, or, call me names, Malteser or Duracell or whatever. That's when things, I decided to think, wait there, this is not good. I'm out of my environment. I'm out of my, I was the minority in Northern Ireland growing up, and, I wanted to be in the majority in Vietnam. So around about 14, I, started the question, especially when I got told off by my parents, I would say very horrible things like, you're not my real mum and dad, just to just hit back on them, really. Not that I meant it. I meant it at the time, but really I didn't really mean it. It was just me in anger. Mum, said that as soon as you were around about 13 or 14, your relationship with me had totally changed. And it wasn't for the good, unfortunately, But I guess that's all to do with adolescence and me wanting to know, me wanting to maybe go back to Vietnam, and me wanting, I don't belong here. Because when people tell you that go back home or call you names, your self-esteem doesn't go very well, so you kind of go, well, maybe I should go back home, and you kind of feel sorry for yourself, and then, so it was between religion and being different coloured in Northern Ireland. It was very hard for me to grow up. It made me a very tough person. Yes. Hi, my name is Vance McElhinney, and I was born in Vietnam but grew up in Lurgan, in a small town in Northern Ireland. I work part-time as a sous chef and run other businesses. I was adopted by the McElhinneys when I was 18 months old. My adopted parents had 2 children called Stephen and David, who loved me and cared for me as one of their own. After 40 years living in Northern Ireland, I decided to return to Vietnam to look for my birth parents. For the first time, I wanted to be the majority and not the minority. As I was living in Northern Ireland, I was in the minority. When I was growing up in Northern Ireland, I was discriminated in my adolescent years due to my colour and religion. I want to feel like I am no different from people around me.
Besides kind of this discrimination that you had to face, I mean, what were some of the other big challenges that you had to face growing up, kind of not knowing much about your origins and not having anyone to share that burden?
I noticed as I got older, it wasn't so much the name calling anymore, but it got physical. People wanted to beat me up. That was when I was 14, 15, and then in the 20s, then I was beginning to mold myself into a person who was very not cold, but emotionally I wasn't there.
Did you know anything about Vietnam? What did you try to find out about the country?
When I found out about, I was evacuated because of the war and the Americans. For some reason, I have never, and to this very day, I have never watched a documentary on the Vietnam War because I think that would hurt me too much. I was very reluctant to investigate about Vietnam because I guess part of me was thinking, am I searching for something that isn't there? If I look for my parents, am I going to be hurt?
When did you decide to finally open that door? I mean, you had that long phase of not even wanting to really know much or find out about your parents because your biological parents, because you were afraid you would get hurt. So when did, kind of that wall come down and you decide, I'm going to go out there and find more information?
When I reached 40, I decided, you know what, I'm 40, I've got 2 failed marriages behind my belt, and I think it's time now to seriously look for my parents, and not just verbalize it and say to people, oh yeah, or whatever, but actually, make that big step. And I guess again that was because I knew there was something missing in my life, and so I just went to my local paper and told them, that I'm writing a book and that I'm going back to Vietnam. I'm going to Vietnam for the first time to look for my parents. And that was basically all. It was a 2-page article. And I said, we'll see what happens, see what comes out of this. So it was published. And about maybe 3 days later then, a production company got on board and emailed me and said, look, we'd like to follow you to Vietnam, and we've got a research team that can, help you. I know you don't have very much. And I said, I don't have very much. All I have is 1 photograph, and that's it. Nothing else.
There was this one single photo.
Yes.
Tell us about this photo.
Well, I have carried that photo for over 43 years, because I'm 43 now. I have it right here. And that's the only photograph I have of whenever I left Vietnam. This was in the orphanage, and then from what my understanding is, to get me out of Vietnam, they had to put the organisation that helped beside me, so they know that I wasn't being stolen, supposedly. That's why there's a big M.
From this single photo, I mean, you said you then had the help on board of a production company who wanted to follow your journey of finding your mother.
The backing of a production company is much better than myself, because it's got more resources.
Yes.
And they were able to pin down that I came from Queen Yun, and to pin down the orphanage.
How did they go from this one photo to finding out that you were originally from Queen Yun?
Well, now, my adopted mum, Liz, had a piece of paper that she was given, which I didn't know, and it mentioned Queen Yun and the orphanage, and that was it. So we were able to pinpoint Queen Yun was where I was either brought to or I was born there. We're not too sure. So with those two wee bits of information, the production company were able then to find the orphanage and the nuns that looked after me.
Yes.
So when I went over to Vietnam, the first time with the production company, we met a lady called Miss Noah. She was like a host, and she was able to tell us where the actual orphanage is, and it was still there. And it's now a retirement home for veterans in Vietnam, in Quy Nhon. When I looked at the gate, it was like Oliver Twist looking through the gate, and wanted to, and just knowing that I was there, you know, and I spent some of my life, maybe weeks of my life in that building. Yes, I was very emotional, but I didn't cry. But I was very emotional, thinking, wow. And then Miss Nora brought me then to a church that I was in, that the nuns looked after me. Before, now from what I can gather, I was in the orphanage, and then Vietnam was under attack. So then from the orphanage, I went to the nun, into this nunnery with a lot of other babies, and I was able to say thank you to the nuns. Now they were around about 80 plus years old, and they didn't remember much, because so many babies they had.
Of course.
They weren't going to remember me. But what they did say was that they were able to confirm that they gave the babies names because they didn't know the babies' actual names. So they confessed to that. That was more overwhelming than the actual seeing the building, because I grew up with Wayne Van Tan.
Yes, Nguyễn Văn Tân, thinking that it was your birth name.
Yeah, thinking that was my birth name. So then to be told that it wasn't, it was a bit of a shock.
In April 1975, the US Army launched Operation Baby Lift in order to bring thousands of children from Vietnam to the US and other countries. The first plane took off on April 4th, 1975, but unfortunately encountered an accident. The plane quickly lost height and plunged to the ground. That tragedy took the lives of 50 adults and 78 children.
Lúc đó thì các sơ đến thăm tôi thì bảo là cháu chết rồi.
Khi bác nghe tin đó
thì tôi buồn lắm. Nhưng mà trong linh cảm của người mẹ tôi nghĩ con tôi không chết là vì nó thế này. Sau đó là tôi tìm hiểu là con tôi nó có đi trên cái chuyến bay mà đầu tiên bị rớt không. Thì tôi mới hỏi mấy cái bà sơ ở gần Đáng, thì bà nói không. Cái chuyến bay ra Đáng lấy con mày nó đi, nhưng mà do cái số cô nhi bệnh Ráng á, nó lại thiếu mất 2 đứa đang nằm bệnh viện Nhi Đồng 2 đứa con gái. Do đó mà người Mỹ họ không nhận thì nó phải ở lại. Thì họ cho một cái dòng khác lên, cái dòng follow nào đó lên, thì các cánh khoảng 15 hay 10 phút gì đó thì rớt. Thì tôi tìm hiểu, tôi thấy rằng là nếu như con tôi có tuổi 9 tháng tuổi thì nó đi qua nước ngoài không thể nào nó chết được, vì họ văn minh mà. Vì vậy mà tôi tin con tôi nó còn. Mà thật ra thì tôi không biết nó ở đâu. Thì khi đó tôi cũng theo dõi báo chí rồi các thứ, thì tôi nghĩ rằng là con tôi nó ở Mỹ. Cho nên tôi nhờ rất là nhiều người ở Mỹ để tìm con tôi, nhưng mà nó nhỏ quá đi. Lúc đó nó chỉ có 9 tháng tuổi thì làm sao nó biết được cái tên. Thì tôi có tìm hiểu, thì mấy con sơ nói với tôi là khi đi là những đứa trẻ mà nó chưa biết cái tên của mình, nó nhỏ, thì họ có viết một cái băng trắng, bằng vải trắng, họ ghi là Nguyễn Thanh Châu, cô nhi viện Gành Ráng Quy Nhơn, là người giám hộ là Sơ Emilian. Sơ Emilian vẫn còn sống, giờ chị lỏng rồi. Thì cái con mà nó bằng vải rồi kết trên là rất là nhiều đứa rất vứt trong ban nó. Thì sau đó sau này họ mới nhận nó, thì họ đặt nó tên khác. Do đó mà không tìm được vì nó nhỏ quá.
Lê Thị Anh was only 21 years old when she lost her son. She decided to live alone, dedicating the rest of her life looking for her son.
If I may go back to your feelings of, coming back to a country, I mean, cognizantly, it was probably your first time in Vietnam because you were aware that you were there, whereas you left at such a young age. What thoughts were going through your mind coming back to this country where you were born in?
Well, I was excited. I was very excited because if only I got out of this trip that I would be the majority and not the minority. And that's all I wanted. That's all I ever, that's all I wanted. Anything else was a bonus. To be able to walk the streets and people not stare at you. To be able to sit in a restaurant and people not looking at you differently, or going out to a pub and people calling you names. That was something. That's something I knew that whenever I went to Vietnam, that wasn't going to happen.
Coming here, meeting the people, seeing the places, and landing on the land where you were born. What little things excited you and intrigued you?
I knew I lost out on so many things. Growing up in Northern Ireland, the traditions of Vietnam, the culture, the food. And the way of life. Well, those were the things I got excited about when getting off the plane. Was, will I think I'm home? Will I think that I found my place in life? And when I stepped off the plane, and the humidity just hit me, and you could feel the humidity and the heat. And as soon as I got off the plane and landed, I knew I was home. But I wasn't home, if you know what I mean. But I wanted to make it home.
Going back now to your first trip in Vietnam, how did it continue, or end that first trip?
Well, I mean, the first trip we never actually met, anybody. We couldn't pin down anybody at the time. The film crew. I went home, and then 2016, the documentary went out in one of the national channels. It kind of snowballed from there. It was like, okay, people on Facebook, maybe 40 messages. This one must have been about maybe 3 days after the documentary went out, and I was doing interviews and newspapers again and stuff, and about 3 days later, I remember, people contacting me, saying, I'm your brother, I'm your sister,
Really?
I'm your mum, I'm your dad. It took a lot of time for me to sift through them, answer them. I answered most of them. But there was one particular one that stuck out, and the girl was called Anna Lee, and she Facebooked me and said, look, my auntie thinks that you're her son. And I go, okay, I need evidence, And over the space of maybe 2 or 3 days, she was able to pin, she says that she was from Quy Nhon, and she was able to verify a lot more details than the other people, put it that way. But I still wasn't convinced. So I said, look, I'm coming back to Vietnam in 2017. We could meet up then. Basically, I went then to Vietnam in 2017, around about the end of January, around about January, I think it was. When I got out of the taxi and walked into the house, I saw this woman just sitting in the corner, minding her own business, but just being very, very quiet. And then the woman came over and sat beside me, and she started crying, and she was crying. She started crying, and I'm going, my goodness, I don't know where to look, or I don't know what to do.
Ban đầu thì nó cũng không nghĩ là nó gặp được tôi, thì lúc đó tôi có mời một cô thông dịch viên rất là giỏi đến, thì khi mà cậu nó đang nói chuyện với cô thông dịch viên rồi để hỏi nó, thì tôi lại đưa cái tấm ảnh của nó nhỏ. Tôi nói đây là Van hồi bé đây. Tôi nói bằng tiếng Anh với nó, thì nó nhìn tôi, tôi mới đưa cái hình của bố nó ra, thì nó cũng đã nhận rồi, thì nó mới chụp. Cô thông nhờ tôi, cô mới nói thế này, mẹ bạn đấy. Xong nó mới nói là nó mới nhìn tôi. Nó nhìn tôi mà có vẻ nó giận.
And this is a photo that she showed you.
Yes. She says that was her looking at me, making sure I don't fall off the seat.
Really?
You know.
Yes.
That's the close-up one of me in the seat.
Yes.
These are the pictures she showed me and said, "This is you. I'm your mum. That's you in the picture."
Yes.
Now, obviously, I said, okay, well, you know, I can't really tell, to be honest with you. So I need a lot more evidence than that. And I says, well, okay, then if you're my mum, you know, tell me why you abandoned me. You know, at least tell me that. Oh, this woman who claimed to be mum was crying with tears of, you know, just literally crying ecstatically and holding my hand.
Mắt nó đỏ, nó nói tại sao bà để tôi ra bà bỏ tôi. Thì lúc đó là tôi chỉ cũng thấy xúc động. Nhưng mà biết là con mình đã trách mình rồi. Nhưng mà tôi không trả lời, tôi nói tôi chỉ cái chân tôi nói, lúc đó mẹ làm bệnh viện. Nó nói cái rồi nó nói là mẹ đây rồi. Thì cái cô thông dịch cô nói là nó gọi cô bằng mẹ rồi đó.
She said, you know, that she was in hospital with a blood transfusion, and her brothers and sisters were looking after me while she was in hospital. Mm-hmm. The war broke out, and a nun came to my brothers and sisters and said, look, you know, we can look after the baby in a safer place. So the brothers and sisters gave me to the nun, and then I ended up in the orphanage. So what happened was, my mum's brothers and sisters didn't tell my mum while she was in hospital. Didn't get her permission to say yes.
That's horrible.
Yeah. So she didn't abandon me. My mum didn't abandon me.
You were given away without her knowledge. What thoughts went through your mind when you were hearing this story?
I was thinking, well, is she lying, or you know, is she for real? Is this true? Do I need to believe this, or do I want to believe it? You know, because this all happened in the space of 10 minutes. You know, it escalated very quickly. I remember saying to the translator, you know, tell this lady it's not her fault. You know, because she was crying. Oh, she was crying.
I understand that the DNA results took a year.
Yes, they did, simply because my adopted mum, was diagnosed with MND, motor neuron disease. So during that trip, she was already diagnosed, and from diagnosis to end of life is 2 years. So I held off the results.
Yes.
Obviously because I have respect for my mum, and that's why it took so long. The actual process was, a month, but my adopted mum looked after me for 43 years. That was my priority.
So you took some time to take care of your your mom.
Yes, and then she passed away in June 2017. And then I sent away for the DNA results.
Yes. Do you remember that moment?
To me, it was more, wow, I've found my mum, and oh my goodness, what now? I never factored that in, to be honest with you. To me, it was just helping a lady out to be happy for the last week or whatever. But as I said to people, I found my mum. To me, it was a relief for 43 years that I've actually found my mum. But there's a flip side. What now? It's not easy.
Khi nó 12 tuổi thì nó thấy nó khác biệt. Nó khác biệt với cái vùng đó, với người ở đó. Thì nó khóc. Nó khóc thì tôi đau lòng. Tôi đau lòng quá thì tôi khóc. Thì nó mới nói là khi nó học lớp 10 thì nó phân biệt chủng tộc, học sinh nó quýnh. Thì lúc đó tôi khóc dữ lắm. Tôi đau lòng, thương con quá. Vì hoàn cảnh chứ mình có một đứa con mà mình làm sao bỏ nó được. Nhưng rồi mấy ngày sau tôi cứ khóc, nước mắt cứ trào ra. Không khóc nó vẫn khóc. Cứ nghĩ con mình nó nhỏ chút xíu như vậy, ai ẵm nó, ai cho nó ăn, họ có bỏ đói nó không, họ có làm tế nó không. Nhưng cái câu hỏi đó nó cứ giống bà lăng vẳng trong đầu. Mấy ngày liền tôi không ăn uống gì được hết. Cái mà trong lòng mình nó thanh thản nhất bây giờ mà không biết là mình nói được cho con cái điều mà mình để trong lòng từ bao nhiêu chục năm mình chưa nói được. Là vì sao mà mình phải bỏ ở trong cái hoàn cảnh như vậy. Biết rằng là không muốn nhưng mà nó đến như vậy. Thì mà bây giờ tôi đã nói được rồi. Tôi rất là bận.
Your third return to Vietnam, you finally met this woman. Again, knowing now that she is your mom, how was that meeting?
The first meeting of mum and son was very emotional. My mum is attached to me because I've been in her belly for 9 months and she's never forgotten me. Because I was in her belly for 9 months and there's already a bond there. But for me, 43 years, it's going to take time. It's not just going to, okay, you're my mum and, let's get on with it. Because I've been brought up in the Western world and it's a different way. From a mum who is very touchy-feely, always wanted to touch me, hold my hand, hug me, and that's lovely because that's, mums want to pamper their sons, But, my adopted mum never did that to me, I wouldn't let my adopted mum do that to me. So my biological mum needs to understand that, I need my space and I need time to bond with her,
What happened after that meeting? What did you find out about her life? I mean, it must have been horrible kind of, continuing life after basically losing your child. Having your child being given away without your knowledge. I mean, how was it kind of hearing the story of your mom?
It's a sad story. To me, she's living in poverty, and she never married. My dad was a very bad man. He shot my grandparents and her brother. He was an alcoholic. He was a gambler. He lost the house. He was abusive. Do we know if my dad is alive today? We don't know. So after losing me, she was a tailor. So she made clothes. She never remarried. And she never had any more children. And the reason why she never remarried or I didn't have any more children is because she wanted to spend her life looking for her son. She's lived a hard life. She had a blood transfusion. She's limping. I tried to buy her a walking stick.
Yes.
And she said no. She's had a tough life. And she's had to rely on her brothers and sisters to look after her, And now that she's found her son, you know, I need to figure out what capacity on how I can do that, you know, for her.
Hello, hello cho cháu.
Hello.
How are you?
Okay.
I miss you.
Yeah, miss you too.
Okay.
The life of Lady Anh has completely changed since she found her son, who had been away from her for 43 years.
I love
At the
you.
age of 64, she is taking her first English lessons. She is also getting used to Facebook
I love
to
you.
communicate with her son in the UK.
Okay. Bye. Năm ngoái tôi gặp được nó rồi là tôi bắt đầu tôi học sử dụng điện thoại. Trong cái lúc nào tôi không có làm việc được. Từ đó tôi không có làm việc được. Tôi không có may vá gì được. Tôi cứ suy nghĩ suốt. Một ngày tôi gọi nó không biết bao nhiêu lần rồi. Nhưng mà tôi chưa biết cái múi giờ. Hồi đó là tôi nghĩ là nó ở mình thì chắc con nó múi giờ nó trước. Cho nên là cứ chừng cỡ 8 giờ, 8 rưỡi sáng rồi tôi ăn uống, tôi sẽ dọn dẹp nhà cửa đâu là bắt đầu tôi lên tôi học. Tôi học nhắn tin, rồi tôi học gọi, rồi tôi học gửi hình, rồi tôi học hết thứ mà tôi học ra thì tôi cứ hồi giờ mình phụ người lớn tuổi mà ở nông thôn mà đâu có dùng đâu. Gạt ra thì nó đụng cái Facebook của nó là bắt đầu rao chuông thì tôi nghĩ nó gọi tôi cho nên tôi cứ để rao chuông hết rồi tôi nghe.
Hello.
Hello. How are you?
Okay.
Xong lúc đó nó bùng dậy thì nó đang ngủ, nó bùng dậy nó nói mẹ cái gì đó mẹ. Tôi nói là con có khỏe không? Thì nó nói con khỏe, con đang ngủ. Thì có nghĩ là nó ngủ trưa chứ ai biết nó ngủ chiều. Thì không nói được nhiều nhưng mà cũng đã nhớ con, thương con rồi vậy. Mong con trở về rồi vậy.
What do you do?
The mother-son love grows stronger every day, just through the little things they share with one another.
Okay. Okay.
I love you.
Yeah, I love you too.
Tháng 7 vừa rồi đây, nó có nhắn cho tôi cái tin nó nói con là sinh nhật con ngày nào. Thì tôi có một đứa con đó mà. Tôi nhớ rất là rõ. Tôi ghi chép rất rõ, tôi mới trả lời với nó, tôi bấm trên máy rồi tôi nói là con chào đời lúc 3 giờ 15 chiều ngày 20 tháng 7. Hầu giờ nó không biết ngày sinh nó là ngày nào. Thì nó gọi đến nó bấm lại nó cười. Ê, nó nói là mẹ chu đáo đến giờ rồi đến phút.
Brother. Mom.
After 43 years of longing for her son, Lady Anh finally saw her wish come true.
Dad. My mom.
Bao nhiêu chục năm nay thì là một người mẹ mà trong đầu tôi lúc nào cũng có một câu dấu hỏi rất lớn. Con mình đã ở đâu? Mà không có câu trả lời. Thì bây giờ nó tìm mình. Thì tôi mong nguyện rất là vui.
This past Lunar New Year, I understand you were able to spend kind of the last day of the Lunar New Year, which is a very special time for Vietnamese people. How was the past Tết with your mom and the family?
My mom's very, you know, she's a very proud woman to have her son now. So she's every time, you know, we went somewhere to eat in the Tet Festival, she was introduced me to my family, my extended family, you know, or even friends. You know, she would just point at me and go, you know, that's my son. You know, I mean, I don't need to know what Vietnamese is whenever she's pointing at me. I can tell her what she's saying. You know, there's certain things that don't need translation. It's going to be a long journey, but I think it's going to be a nice journey. Luckily enough now, my fiance lives in Vietnam, so there's a attachment
link,
there. Yeah.
yes.
So you know, there's something. So there's something there that's definitely obviously going to keep me in Vietnam. To how long I don't know, but yeah. So we'll just need to figure it out. You know.
One of the things that you've been, doing in addition to spending time with your biological mom this time in Vietnam is kind of doing some, social work with a group of disadvantaged kids in Quy Nhơn. You set up a project to support them.
Miss Noor has a centre for disabled young people. in Queen Yun. And while I was there on my first trip in Vietnam, she says, you must come to my centre, because I got inspired from the orphanage. I want you to come and see it, And I said, yeah, no problem. And I went. So, and from 2015, I just fell in love with the centre and fell in love with the students. And so 3 years on, I came back and I said, look, I'm setting up this Helping Hand, a bursary fund. Mm-hmm. Because I was given a helping hand by my adopted parents, and without their helping hand in my life, I wouldn't be where I am today. Twice a year, I will be giving 14 million dong to a Pacific student. Now, how the student is picked will be up to Miss Noor and the staff to do that. What this money is for is if the young person has a talent that they want to grow, like if they play an instrument or they love to sing, this wee bit of money will help towards that. Or even if it's just to help out with the family, that money is theirs to do what they want with it. I've done okay in my life, and it's now time for me to give a helping hand back, and that's what the fund is about.
Okay, nói gì ta? Believe, ignore, you.
Come on.
No, but you invite everybody by Vietnamese. Chứ. Ngon. Miệt.
Nguyễn Nga Center has been a familiar destination for Vance McElhinney during the last 4 years.
They have to rehearse, haven't they?
Each time he is in Quy Nhơn, he comes to the center every day to assist the children and youth living with disabilities.
Nhiều năm vừa rồi thì cứ năm nào cũng về là tới đây thôi, vui chơi với các em, làm gì được cho các em thì làm. Cho tới bây giờ khi mà cậu là tìm được mẹ rồi á, thì lại có những cái mong muốn, như chẳng hạn là tôi muốn dạy nấu ăn này, rồi tôi muốn dạy tiếng Anh này, rồi tôi muốn tìm cái việc gì đó ở Việt Nam tôi có thể làm được.
Nguyễn Nga Center has been providing support for people with disabilities for nearly 25 years. The support is mainly vocational training and is provided free of charge. Bartending is one of the newest subjects at the center. Hồ Thảo Nhi turned 16 this year. She came to the center about half a year ago and has since become a skilled bartender.
My friend over there who makes me buy drink every day. Yes, she don't speak Vietnamese, but you know what? Love is a good communication and hand gestures. So this is the reason why I come every day, is to help the young people and to help Miss Noor. And it's close to my heart. And I was given a helping hand in life, and I want to help these young people to have a little bit of hope.
Vance, originally a chef, not only offered to teach the children English or cooking, but recently he also founded the Helping Hands Fund. In order to start up the fund, he has used his own money, along with calling for other forms of support to provide children here with some initial investment to start their own businesses.
Because I come from Vietnam, and because Quy Nhơn is my hometown, I feel that it's good for me to give to these young people. It's a family here, and I feel very much part of the family, and they've accepted me as a brother, or as an uncle or whatever, and I love it.
You've had an incredible journey. Earlier on, you said, you know, you wanted to be back here in Vietnam to embrace Vietnam and to embrace the traditions, the identity, the culture, the things that you thought that you missed out, you know, during your time in Northern Ireland. Do you feel that, you know, in the time that you've been here in Vietnam, you've been able to do that?
Oh, very much so. I think so. I mean, listen, I've still got a lot to learn about the Vietnamese culture, and by no means am I there. I'm nowhere near there. But I'm getting insights, and I'm getting snippets, and I'm getting tidbits of it, and I love it. And if I could only learn Vietnamese as easily as some of you can learn English, I'd be happier. But no, I mean, bar the language barrier, you know, okay, which is a big thing, but bar that, I just love the people. They're happy, they're laid back, they're hardworking, and that's again, you know, I'm a hard worker too, so that was, you know, instilled in me, you know.
A very important part of your identity, which I'm very curious about. Did you ever find out through your mother what your name was when you were younger?
Yes, it was Chow.
Chow,
C-H-A-U.
C-H, Chow.
Yeah, Chow. Yeah, so
yes,
that's
it's a beautiful name.
And now I've got an identity, you know. That means a lot to me.
We mentioned now, you know, you found your mom, you've spent time with her. What's next?
Well, what next? But I go back to the UK with my adopted family there that want to see me. I've got other commitments. While I'm in UK, I'm hoping that a house will be built in Queen Yon for my mum. So I put stuff in place for my mum because she's not very well. My goal is I get married in December of this year, and I move in with my mum and my wife-to-be after we get married in Queen Yon, and I set up a business. I will do 10 months possibly in Vietnam and 2 months in the UK.
You've had a quite amazing journey. So what does Vietnam mean to you now after all of this, after all you've been through?
Vietnam means to me is that it's my, first of all, it's my home. Second of all, I've got family here. You know, and thirdly, I've still got a lot to learn about my tradition and my cultures, and I embrace that. Vietnam has embraced me. I'm embracing Vietnam, and I love the country. For me, Vietnam is, you know, has it always been my home? I've always thought it was my home. I always yearned for it whenever times were hard for me, where I said I wish I would live in Vietnam because I wouldn't be putting up with all this, you know. So Vietnam was always in the psyche, you know, and is my home. Yeah, Vietnam is my home. Yeah, definitely.
Yes. Thank you so much, Vance. Joe, for sharing your story, this incredible journey. We wish your mother the best of health, and that, you know, your new lives restarting, making up for the last 43 years will be a wonderful one, filled with love and a lot of exploration of Vietnam and the culture and the traditions here.
Well, I look forward to it, and thank you for having me on the show.
Thank you very much. And that is also wrapped up this wonderful talk with Vance, sharing his story of finding his mother, finding his roots once again after 43 years. We hope you enjoyed this emotional story, and we'll see you next time here on Talk Vietnam. Goodbye for now.